Sorry. Feel like I failed you.
Cloud and his buddies make their return in this most awaited sequel to the remake trilogy with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. According to the creators, Rebirth will be the Empire Strikes Back of the series.
Who are you?
I am your
Father.
Sephiroth and Cloud must face each other once more in a battle for the future.
There's going to be another war, isn't there?
Final Fantasy XVI. We're going back to the world of Chocobos. 16 takes place in a world where kingdoms are ruled by powerful leaders that wage wars for supremacy, a la Game of Thrones. What's most exciting about it is its crazy, fast gameplay. No more waiting this time. We're going full Dante from DMC. Just look at that. Even with all the hacking and the slashing, it promises characters and a story worth our time. We finally have a name for the sequel. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. The title hasn't stuck with me yet, so I'll still call it Breath of the Wild too. Tears of the Kingdom continues Link's journey to stop Ganon. Together with Zelda, they'll explore new territories, including a massive Sky Kingdom familiar to fans of Skyward Sword. That's the most of the info we have so far. It's safe to expect improvements in gameplay and graphics, new skills, weapons, and creatures. Forspoken. You play as a young New Yorker transported to a land of fantasy and magic. Her destiny is still a mystery, and that's exactly what you're going to uncover. Is this an isekai? Apparently it is. Gameplay is a blend of magic and traversal, so you can mix and match your abilities to get over obstacles, fight creatures, and explore this beautiful, cruel world. For the fans of the movie, here's Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Ubisoft recreates the entire planet of Pandora, a massive, living open world that responds to your actions. We'll see familiar creatures that are in the movie, as well as the lush vegetation of its world. Play as a Na'vi and embark on a journey across the western frontier, a never-before-seen part of the planet. Imagine flying the skies. Speaking of Ubisoft, let's not forget about Assassin's Creed Mirage. Taking place in 9th century Baghdad, play as Basim in a coming-of-age story where he becomes part of the Assassin's Guild. This will be the series' return to stealth combat. This means we no longer have to worry about damage numbers and leveling up. Like all Assassin's Creed games, the world is your playground. Sadly, we don't have any gameplay footage yet, but the trailer gave us enough hype for this new direction. Next year, we're going to a galaxy far, far away with Star Wars Jedi Survivor. If you're wondering, yes, this is the sequel to Fallen Order. You play as Cal Kestis, one of the few remaining Jedis left fighting the Sith and the Empire. It promises to expand on the story, combat, and characters. You'll meet familiar faces from the Star Wars universe, including Inquisitors and even Darth Vader himself. Here are two beloved RPG classics in one package, Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster. They're the exact same stories. In Suikoden 1, you gather a band of heroes to lead a battle against tyranny. In Suikoden 2, two leaders are destined to fight for the future of their region. This re-release comes with improved effects and illustrations, autosave, new sound effects, and more. Turn-based battles, interesting characters, and a magical world to explore. That's worth hours and hours of playtime.
Your soul requires cleansing.
Survival horror makes a comeback in Resident Evil 4 Remake. The story is much like the original. Leon fights the last Plagueis threat to save the president's daughter. The most obvious difference is with graphics. Everything is remade from the ground up. The cultist village, underwater monsters, and the abominations are still ready to kick our ass, but we don't want it to be the exact same game, right? I hope Capcom has a few surprises. Octopath Traveler 2. Square loves their RPGs, but Octopath doesn't play like traditional role-playing games. You take control of 8 protagonists, each with their own abilities, motivations, and paths. If you haven't played the first game, don't worry. The new cast of characters will tell their own stories.
Embark on an adventure all your own.
We need help.
We'll also see the return of sci-fi horror next year with Dead Space Remake. Oh man, the USG Ishimura. We've had our fair share of nightmares back in 2008. Isaac Clarke returns, and he's not paid enough to stop this alien infestation.
Oh shit! This one's regenerating!
How are you going to kill it?
I'm not! Ah! Got him!
This remake is a complete rebuilding of the original, with new lighting features and visuals that would look good on PS5, Series X, and the PC, if your specs can keep up. We're getting more horror games next year. Layers of Fear, a psychological horror that pokes at your character's inner psyche. If you've played the old Layers of Fear games, this might be very familiar. You're playing artists slowly losing their sanity. The world around you changes the more you explore. With promised support for new visual techs like HDR and ray tracing, your descent into madness will be both unsettling and beautiful.
Johnny Silverhand is coming back, and so am I.
We'll be seeing more of Johnny Silverhand in this Cyberpunk 2077 expansion. Phantom Liberty has been described as a spy thriller. Expect new characters, cyberware, espionage, and double agents. Looks like Night City is still alive now that Cyberpunk 2077 is mostly fixed. We'll know more about this expansion in the months leading to its release next year. Can we really get our hands on Hollow Knight Silksong? After years of speculation, a release is now on the horizon. You'll play as Hornet in this new bug-infested kingdom ruled by Silk and Song. Hollow Knight has always been brutal, so Silksong won't be a cakewalk either. Use Hornet's acrobatic skills and her trusty needle to survive the many challenges ahead. And finally, we end this list with Alan Wake 2. Remember Alan Wake, the troubled writer who fights shadow people? This is its next chapter. We know very little so far, except that it's going full survival horror. Now, on top of what should be another incredibly written storyline, you can expect to get your adrenaline pumping.
And monsters wear many faces.